Imagine a snowy day in Colorado, where childhood games turn into a chilling encounter. What happens when a simple snowball fight leads to a terrifying discovery? Join me as we unravel a childhood memory that still sends shivers down my spine. In the heart of Colorado, nestled among towering pines and snow-capped peaks, lies a family vacation home that has witnessed countless winter escapades. My parents, avid skiers, purchased this charming retreat long before I took my first breath. It was a place where laughter echoed through the halls and memories were etched into every creaky floorboard. But as the years passed, the house began to show its age. Its once vibrant paint now peeling, and its roof sagging under the weight of heavy snow. My father tirelessly maintained it, but even he knew that time was not on our side. The thought of tearing it down for something new lingered in his mind like a ghost haunting the halls. For 2 decades, I'd appreciated the fact that the gray, black, and white farmhouse, yet despite its dilapidated state, it remained a sanctuary for us, a place where we could escape reality and embrace the thrill of winter. But little did we know that one fateful day, this sanctuary would transform into a setting for something far more sinister. As I reflect on that day from 15 years ago, I can still feel the chill of the blizzard that enveloped us and the creeping dread that followed me into the woods. It was supposed to be a day filled with joy and laughter, a simple snowball fight between siblings, but it would soon spiral into a nightmare. 15 years ago, I was just an 8-year-old child, wide-eyed and filled with excitement as my family made their annual pilgrimage to our Colorado retreat. My brother Josh was 11, old enough to lead our adventures but still young enough to revel in the magic of winter. That day, however, nature had other plans for us. A blizzard swept through the mountains, blanketing everything in a thick layer of white. The world outside transformed into a winter wonderland. Trees bowed under the weight of snow, and visibility dwindled to mere feet. As we bundled up in layers upon layers of clothing, our excitement bubbled over. The thrill of playing in the snow was irresistible. It beckoned us like a siren's call. We raced outside into the swirling storm, laughter ringing out against the howling wind. The property felt endless, an expanse of white where we could create our own adventures. Little did we know that beneath this serene surface lurked shadows waiting to emerge. The vastness of our property was both exhilarating and daunting, a sprawling canvas for our imaginations. Surrounded by dense woods, it offered countless hiding spots for games like hide-and-seek or epic snowball fights. We often played until we were breathless, our cheeks flushed from cold and exertion. On this particular day, we devised an elaborate game involving forts and a coveted jewel made from packed snowballs. Josh chose to set up his fort on the neighboring property, a place we often played since it was usually deserted. As we strategized our battle plan amidst swirling snowflakes, I felt an electric thrill course through me. This was what childhood was all about, freedom and adventure. But as I glanced around at the towering trees swaying in the wind, an unsettling feeling crept into my mind. A whisper that perhaps we were not alone out there in the wilderness. Ignoring it as just my imagination running wild, I focused instead on our game. Josh darted off down the road to establish his fort while I remained behind, eagerly anticipating his signal to begin our epic snowball fight. He had chosen a spot on the neighboring property, an area we had claimed as our own during countless winters past. As he disappeared from view, I settled into my own fort-building routine. With each scoop of snow packed tightly together, my anticipation grew. But as minutes ticked by without a whistle signaling the start of our game, unease began to settle in my stomach like lead. 5 minutes turned into 10. Surely he must have finished by now. My mind raced with thoughts. Was he lost? Did he get hurt? Finally deciding that I could no longer wait idly by, I set off down the road toward his fort, hoping against hope that everything was all right. The wind howled around me as I trudged through knee-deep snow. Each step felt heavier than the last, as my heart began to race with worry. As I approached the neighboring property's driveway, my heart pounded louder than ever against my chest, a primal instinct warning me that something wasn't right. The trees loomed tall and ominous around me, Their bare branches clawed at the gray sky like skeletal fingers, reaching out for help, or perhaps warning me away from what lay ahead. I peered through the trees toward Josh's fort but saw no sign of him. No movement or sound broke through the eerie silence surrounding me. My pulse quickened as panic threatened to take hold. Where could he possibly be? With trepidation gnawing at my insides, I stepped cautiously onto their property. The fort stood there like a ghostly monument to our game, but there was no sign of Josh anywhere nearby. Just as confusion began to cloud my thoughts, I heard her voice. A woman's voice calling out from somewhere near the house. "Excuse me, are you looking for your brother?" Her voice rang out like an alarm bell in my mind, a jarring interruption to my growing dread. I turned slowly toward her direction. The woman stood at the front door of their house with an unsettling smile plastered across her face. She looked older than time itself. Her features were obscured by shadows cast from above her doorframe. With every step closer I took toward her home, an icy chill slithered down my spine. Something about her smile felt wrong, too wide and too eager for comfort in such a desolate setting. "Josh," I shouted instinctively, my voice trembling with fear as I searched for any sign of him nearby, but only silence answered me back. As I approached her more closely, she waved me inside with an inviting gesture that felt more like a trap than an offer of warmth against the biting cold outside. My instincts screamed at me to run, to flee back into the safety of familiar surroundings. But curiosity held me captive for just a moment longer. Then I noticed something out of place. Someone peering down at me from an upstairs window. A figure partially obscured by shadows but unmistakably human. For a fleeting second, I thought it might be Josh. Perhaps he had gone inside without telling me. But as quickly as that thought crossed my mind, panic surged anew when I realized this person's face was hidden beneath a black beanie, the lower half obscured as if they were trying to conceal their identity. My heart raced as realization dawned upon me. Those footprints leading up to this house were undeniably Josh's. But where had he gone? Why wasn't he answering? Suddenly aware of how vulnerable I felt standing there alone on unfamiliar ground, surrounded by strangers' whispers echoing through time itself, I took another step back towards safety when she called out again, "Come inside. It's warm." That smile twisted further into something sinister. It sent chills racing down my spine like ice water coursing through my veins. Panic surged within me. I screamed, "Josh!" again, but heard nothing but silence echoing back at me from within those walls. In that moment, the weight of dread became unbearable. I turned on my heels and ran. Heavy footsteps thundered behind me from inside, the sound reverberating through my bones like thunder rolling across stormy skies. Adrenaline coursed through me as I sprinted back toward familiar territory. The crunching sound of snow beneath my boots drowned out by pounding heartbeats echoing in my ears. Every instinct told me to keep moving, to escape whatever nightmare lurked behind those walls. I retraced my previous footsteps, desperately trying not to look back even once. I could feel eyes watching me from behind windows, shadows lurking just beyond reach, ready to pounce. Finally breaking free from their property line, I stumbled back onto our driveway, gasping for breath when suddenly, amidst all chaos, I heard it. Dad's whistling. That familiar sound, filled with warmth, brought relief flooding over me like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. When I reached home, breathless and trembling, I found Dad waiting there alongside Josh, who appeared just as shaken but confused about what had transpired during his absence. Before I could explain anything, Josh blurted out about people inviting him inside while playing outside too. Dad's expression shifted instantly. Concern etched across his features as he grabbed something from nearby before heading down toward that neighbor's house with purpose. Minutes felt like hours while Mom kept glancing nervously toward us, waiting anxiously for news about what lay beyond those doors. Eventually, Dad returned, looking grim. He reported finding locked doors with no response despite knocking repeatedly. We decided then to seek help from another neighbor who knew those owners well enough. They confirmed what sent chills racing down our spines. Nobody should have been there that weekend. The police were called. They arrived promptly, taking statements while searching thoroughly, but found nothing amiss except lingering unease hanging thickly in air around us all. From then on, we avoided playing near that house altogether. Its memory haunted us long after leaving Colorado behind, reminding us always how quickly innocence can turn dark when faced with unknown dangers lurking just beyond sight. Thank you for watching this chilling tale. If you enjoyed this story or have your own spooky experiences to share, please like this video, leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more haunting tales.